Are you looking for ways to unleash the full potential of your team and supercharge your productivity? Well, if you are, you're in luck. Because in today's episode, we're going to share 5 simple yet powerful tips for using Cliftonstrengths and the Cliftonstrengths framework to unleash that productivity in your team. So whether you're a brand new team leader or a seasoned vet, today's strategies will help you unlock that potential and you'll be off to the races. So grab a pen, sit back, take some notes, and we're going to jump right in. Let's get started. Hey everyone, my name is Gordon and welcome to another episode. If this is your first time with us and you want to learn more about Cliftonstrengths, leading a strengths-based life, or anything else leadership related, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as the bell notification so you don't miss any cool updates or any of our new episodes. So in today's video, we want to talk about maximizing your team's productivity, unleashing them to do great work. And in order for us to do that, it's really about maximizing our ability to help them explore, learn, and implement their strengths as individuals, but also as a team. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about 5 strategies that managers and leaders can use to engage their team around their strengths. So let's jump right in to the 5 tips. So before we jump into today's 5 tips that leaders can use to unleash that potential and maximize productivity on their teams, let's go back and talk about Cliftonstrengths again and why it's important that people know and understand their talents, know and understand their strengths. Cliftonstrengths is all about harnessing and leveraging your natural skills, your natural talents, and your natural abilities. Once you understand what those natural skills, talents, and abilities are, then you can aim them, you can direct them, and you can really focus on how to be better at your job, how to be better in your relationships, how to be better in maximizing your effectiveness as a human being and as a person. So just take a moment and share with me in the comments below. Give me a little bit of feedback. How are you leveraging your strengths? How are you maximizing your productivity through your Cliftonstrengths? Have you taken your assessment already? And if you haven't taken your assessment, what are you waiting for? Jump in there and take your assessment and then give us some feedback about how you're using them. All right. And with that, let's jump into the 5 tips. All right. So tip number 1 for managers who want to maximize their team's potential, unleash that team's potential to do great work. The first thing you want to do is to give your team opportunities to understand their individual strengths. So leaders, carve out time for folks to take the assessment. Carve out time for folks to analyze their results. Help them make a list. What are their top 5s? Help them to delve into their reports and understanding the things that are unique to them, the things that they understand that resonate with them, that they connect with. Help them do that exploratory work. That's the very first thing that we can do if we really want to maximize our team's effectiveness and their potential, is helping them to understand, here are your individual strengths, and then here's how you start to explore them, understand them, and then utilize them. That's tip number 1. Okay, so tip number 2 is to give team members the opportunity to share their strengths with one another. This is really important. Because once we know what our individual strengths are, we now understand how we tick. We now understand what gets us going, what motivates us. We know why we do the things that we do. Now imagine the opportunity to share that with a colleague, to share that with your teammate. Now understanding that they now know what makes me tick, they now know what helps me be energized and engaged at work. Think about the opportunity that creates to create relationship, to create connection, to create synergy for the work to get done, for projects to get tackled, for productivity to go through the roof. When I know about my teammates and when my teammates know about me, we can now make the conscious decision, because we've shared those things and now we know each other's strengths. We can make the conscious decision to invest in one another and to connect with one another in ways that we will both mutually be that much more effective and that much more productive. That's tip number 2. Share your strengths with one another on the team. And leaders, it is our job to facilitate those opportunities, create the space, the time, and the energy around understanding and exploring strengths individually first and then as a team. Tip number 3, leaders, find ways to maximize your team's productivity by creating complementary teams. Now, we know and we understand that the Cliftonstrengths 34 are organized into themes: relationship building, influencing, strategic thinking, and executing. And what we also understand is that we will have groups or team members that have strong affinities and connections based on their strengths. And by creating those complementary teams, we can maximize productivity because we can put people together who have the ability to strategic think, execute, build relationships, and influence in a really, really effective way to move the mission and the work forward. Leaders, this is our job. It's our job to figure out what those complementary teams are. It's our job to figure out who to pair together, who to organize together, and who needs to spend time with one another to get great work done. So tip number 3, leaders, is to create complementary teams. Now, I'll give you an example of how I've done this in my work. Once we understand everybody's individual strengths, and people have spent time going through those individual strengths, and then we've given them the space and the opportunity to spend time together sharing those strengths, then we place them all on a grid and we color code that grid. And once we've color coded that grid, we seek out opportunities to see which folks on our teams would work best together based on their strengths, based on those themes, and based on where we see opportunities to have people work together to maximize productivity. This is it in real life. So when you have the opportunity to take people through this process and you really want to maximize their productivity, start looking for ways to put them on a grid, understand what those strengths are, match people up, and find strategic opportunities for people to work together. That's tip number 3. So tip number 4 is critically important. Of the 5, this might be the most important. Tip number 4 is about creating the opportunity for folks to continue to grow their strengths, continue to maximize their talents. Now, why do I say this is so important? Well, if we start the strengths journey, we can do the assessment, we can understand what our top 5 or our top 10, or for that matter, all of our top 34, we can understand what they are. We can create that space and that opportunity, but what we want to remind folks is that strengths is a long-term journey. It is a marathon. It is an ultra marathon, because strengths becomes a lifelong journey of understanding, growing, and developing who we are. So we as leaders, again, our job is to create the environment, create the conditions for folks to continue to invest and grow and develop in their strengths. We as leaders can create that environment for them. Once we've given them the opportunity and they've learned those strengths, now they will need time to cultivate them. They will need time to continue to develop them. They will need time to spend with their colleagues, continuing to maximize their productivity. But you got to give them space to develop their strengths. And we as leaders, under tip number 4, is really find ways to continue to let them develop their strengths. Are there trainings? Are there other reports, other assessments? Are there journals? Are there other things that we can expose them to? Are there frameworks? Are there plans? Or are there activities that we can give them? Find ways to give our teams the tools they need to further explore their Clifton strengths. That's a powerful, powerful tip. And it's a powerful, powerful responsibility for us as leaders to make sure that we're doing for our teams. Now, our 5th and final tip is important. It's important because this is the opportunity for us to get some feedback from our teams. So, tip number 5 is to measure progress. Measure progress with your teams. Go in, speak to the individuals within the team, speak to the team as a group, and find out, how's it going? What more do they need? What additional opportunities do they need? Ask for that feedback, receive that feedback, structurally get that feedback, and then find ways to incorporate and implement the recommendations and the suggestions that your team gives you. When we take that feedback and then our team sees us implementing the feedback and taking their insights and their input and taking that and implementing it and incorporating it into the work, they will feel valued. They will feel highly engaged, and they will be much more productive. So tip number 5, don't forget, ask for feedback, respond to that feedback, and create additional opportunities for your team to learn and grow and invest in their strengths. That's tip number 5. So there we have it. 5 simple but very, very powerful strategies to maximize our team's strengths. Let's go through them once again. First, we want to identify our team members' strengths. Number 2, we want to create the opportunity for our team members to talk to one another about their strengths. Third, we want to create the opportunity to have complementary teams that maximize each other's productivity. Number 4, we want to create opportunities to expand, develop, and grow strengths even more above and beyond just the introductory. And then number 5, we want to create opportunities for feedback from our team to us about what more they need in order to maximize their productivity. These 5 strategies, again, simple, but very, very powerful for creating a strengths-based team and a strengths-based culture where everybody is engaged and committed and highly effective and productive in the work. So in conclusion, if you liked this episode, give us a thumbs up, like the video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel. We're continuing to try to build a strengths-based movement. We want to continue to add value around strengths. We think strengths is a game changer. And we think leadership is a game changer. Leadership matters, and using and leveraging our natural talents and natural skills and natural ability will help us be better leaders. It will help us to be much more effective in the work that we're doing. So if you like the channel, here will be some additional video opportunities that will be up in the banner above. Also, for more information on some of our getting started guides, check the pinned comments below and check the description below for more information on Cliftonstrengths, coaching resources as well. We always want to serve this community. We want to continue to grow and develop all of you as leaders. We want you to thrive in your work. And so, until we see you next time, be well, everyone, and we'll see you real soon.